jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing that rock.
In the late 1950s, a young man from Tupelo, Mississippi shook the world. His name was Elvis Presley, and he wasn't just a singer, he was a force of nature. With a sneer, a swivel of his hips, and a voice that blended rock, blues, and gospel, he ignited a revolution. He was the king of rock and roll, and a generation screamed his name. But then, something changed. The rebellion was traded for conformity. The electrifying stage presence was replaced by a sterile movie screen. For nearly a decade, the king was in exile, churning out a seemingly endless stream of forgettable Hollywood musicals. His once unrivaled voice was now a backdrop for mediocre plots. The world of music was moving on. The British invasion, led by bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, dominated the airwaves. Woodstock was on the horizon, and the counterculture was thriving. Where did Elvis fit in? The question on everyone's mind wasn't, what's next for the king? It was, has the king abdicated his throne for good? This is the story of how, in one unforgettable night in 1968, Elvis Presley didn't just stage a comeback, he staged a resurrection. The stage was set for a disaster. The year was 1968, a time of profound social and political turmoil. America was in a state of chaos, and Elvis Presley, who had once embodied youthful rebellion, was now a cultural relic. His manager, the notorious Colonel Tom Parker, had a plan, a safe, predictable Christmas special for NBC. Elvis, decked out in a tuxedo, would sing carols, and the network would sell the soundtrack. It was a formula that had worked before, but it was also the very thing that had stifled Elvis's artistry for years. It was an insult to the man who had once been the most dangerous performer on the planet. But there was a rebellion brewing behind the scenes, and its leader was a young, fearless television director named Steve Binder. Binder had a reputation for pushing boundaries. He wasn't an Elvis fan, and he didn't care about the past. He saw a broken man trapped by his own fame and a manager who was slowly suffocating him.
Colonel really didn't care about television to begin with. He wanted NBC to finance the next movie, which was Change of Habit.
In their first meeting, he didn't mince words. He looked at the king and asked, "Who are you?" It was a question no one had dared to ask for years. Elvis, weary and insecure, was ready to listen. Binder and his team, including producer Bones Howe, convinced Elvis to throw out the Christmas special idea and embrace a different path. They proposed a show that wasn't a tribute to the past, but a bridge to the future. It would be a raw, stripped-down rock and roll show, a chance for Elvis to reconnect with the music and the fans that had made him a star. Colonel Parker was furious. He fought every step of the way, but for the first time in years, Elvis stood his ground. He knew this was his last chance. The most revolutionary part of Binder's plan was the sit-down session. They wanted to capture the magic of Elvis jamming with his bandmates in a studio. They recreated an intimate setting, a small square stage surrounded by a select group of fans. The cameras would roll, and Elvis would be Elvis. They brought back his original bandmates, guitarist Scotty Moore and drummer DJ Fontana, who hadn't played with him in years. The reunion was electric. And then he walked out, the king, in a legendary black leather suit that was both an homage to his rebellious past and a statement of his modern intent. There was no glitz, no huge orchestra, just Elvis, a guitar, and a band that knew his soul. He was nervous, visibly so. He joked with the audience, making light of his own anxieties.
Well, good night.
But as soon as he struck the first chord, a transformation occurred. The insecurity vanished, replaced by a confident, magnetic swagger. He was home. He was the king again. The performances that followed were nothing short of a revelation. He tore through his classic hits, his voice richer and more powerful than ever. Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, all shook up. Each song was a declaration, a thunderous roar from a sleeping giant. The famous Jailhouse Rock sequence, with its electrifying energy and theatrical staging, reminded the world what a dynamic, captivating performer he was. The sweat was real, the passion was undeniable. This wasn't a man going through the motions, this was a man fighting for his legacy. But the most significant moment of the entire special wasn't a classic hit. It was a brand new song, an anthem that would define not just the show, but a pivotal moment in American history. As the production neared the end, Steve Binder was grappling with a finale. Colonel Parker still wanted a cheerful Christmas song, but Binder, deeply affected by the recent assassinations of Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, wanted something more. He wanted Elvis to make a statement. He commissioned a new song, "If I Can Dream." The lyrics were a direct plea for peace, a call for a world where people could live together in harmony. Colonel Parker hated it, calling it political. But Elvis, who had been profoundly moved by the events of that year, insisted on performing it. The recording session was intense. When Elvis finished, the studio was silent. The backup singers were in tears. It was a performance of pure, raw emotion. And on that stage, for the grand finale, Elvis didn't wear black leather. He wore a crisp white suit, a symbol of hope and purity. He stood alone, bathed in light, and sang "If I Can Dream" with every ounce of his being. His hands moved with the music, his face a mask of conviction. This wasn't just a singer performing a song. This was a man, a legend, a human being, using his platform to speak to a nation's pain. It was a powerful, stunning moment that showed Elvis a side the world hadn't seen before. The king had returned, and he had something to say. When the special aired on December 3, 1968, the impact was immediate and overwhelming. The world was reminded of what they had lost and what they had just found again. The reviews were glowing. Critics hailed it as a stunning career revival. The special was a ratings juggernaut, proving that Elvis was more than just a memory. He was still a musical titan. The '68 comeback special didn't just save Elvis's career, it gave him a new one. Emboldened by its success, Elvis broke free from the Hollywood shackles. He returned to the live stage, launching a legendary residency in Las Vegas that redefined the modern concert spectacle. He recorded some of the best music of his later career, including the chart-topping Suspicious Minds and the poignant In the Ghetto. The king was back, and he was more confident and artistically vital than he had been in years. Of course, the story is more complex. The pressures of touring, the demands of fame, and his ongoing struggles would eventually take their toll. But for one shining moment on that intimate stage in 1968, Elvis Presley was truly free. He was the artist he always wanted to be. The legacy of the '68 comeback special is immense. It's a testament to the power of artistic reinvention. It's a reminder that authenticity, raw talent, and a little bit of rebellion can conquer even the most suffocating circumstances. It redefined the idea of a comeback and set the stage for countless artists who would follow in his footsteps. But most of all, it's a powerful and timeless document of a man reclaiming his soul. The black leather, the raw energy, the sweat on his brow, and the heartfelt plea in "If I Can Dream," they are more than just moments in a television show. They are the sound of a king finding his way home. The '68 comeback special wasn't just a television show. It was a defiant roar from a man who had been silenced for too long. It was the moment he reclaimed his crown, reminding the world that the king of rock and roll was still a force to be reckoned with. But most of all, it's a timeless story about authenticity, courage, and the power of a single moment to change a life forever. And now we want to hear from you. What's your favorite moment from the '68 comeback special? Was it the raw, electrifying energy of those black leather sessions, or the deep emotional power of "If I Can Dream"? Let us know in the comments below. If you are captivated by the King's return, give this video a like. And for more stories about the lives and legacies of music's greatest icons, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.